Hey YouTube, it's SoulPrime13 again, coming at you with another Transformers video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the third-party Metagate Airking, which is their take on a masterpiece scale Beast Wars terrorsaur. So first we'll take a quick look at the box here, and the reason I have it turned around is because I kept trying to flop over on top of him. But here, yeah, it's kind of got a little bulge in the bottom, but we got G04 Airking. We got some artwork there of Airking, ages 15 plus. Just their logo on the side, logo, and a little picture of the figure there in his terrorsaur mode. And then not really anything on the top, not really anything on the bottom, just some legal jargon and whatnot on the back. So not too much going on there. And we do get a lovely instruction booklet, which is actually really not that lovely. It's very small, hard to read, and it's crap. It's crap. I mean, it's still technically better than a QR code, but not by much. But yeah, there is that. And here we have the figure himself, and he does come with this stand included in the box, and that just plugs into his crotchular area. There's just a little tab slot right there. It just goes on this little bit right here. I don't know if it actually uses this side, but yeah. And he does have some accessories, the first of which are these two missile launchers on his shoulders, which are unfortunately the only ones that don't store underneath the stand. There is a place to plug them in, but they stick out too far, so the stand does not sit flush if you actually put them there, which is a bummer. Speaking of that, we do come with two additional faces, and when you store them under here, don't push them all the way in, because I did that and I had to use a tool to push them back out. But they'll just store in any of these slots along the top. And then we do get his two guns. I'm not entirely sure if he used this one in the show or not. Memory's a little fuzzy. But he does get this longer rifle. And then we do get his signature weapon that I know he used quite often in the show. It's like a little missile launcher pistol. Although they've painted it a off pinkish, like a sort of a salmon pink on the tip. And I'm pretty sure it was either silver or red. I don't know why it's that particular color, but yeah. And then we do get a it's like a smug smirking face. Which one is this? It's kind of hard to see because the pure white of the face, but actually I think that's just a stoic face, because I'm pretty sure I have the smirking face on him now. Yeah, I got the smirking face on him right now. I can just get this up a little bit. But yeah, that's his smirking face, and then he has another frowny face. And to switch the head, or the face, you just kind of put his head back. And you might need a tool because it does kind of like hook under his like head crest. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to get it out. Yeah, I can't get it out with that tool, and I didn't bring one with me. But it's essentially just on a little tab, as you can see here. And yeah, you just kind of plug it in. So yeah, it's just once you get it out, it's really simple. It's just getting it out. As far as the guns, they both have the tabs on the handle, so you can give him his weapons. I'm going to bring his thumb up, and we'll just plug this into his hand there. There we go. And you can just close that up as it pops out as I try and close his fingers. So you can have him holding either of his weapons in either hand. They do have tabs on both sides. So there's that. And again, the missile launchers do just plug in, and they are on little ball joints, so you get plenty of posability with those. But speaking of the articulation, his head is also on a ball joint, and he can look very far up. He gets plenty of side to side, especially if we take these missile launchers off. We do get plenty of wiggly waggly. The shoulders can do a full 360. They can come up that far. Do get double jointed elbows, as I accidentally pop his dino foot up. We do get rotation at the wrist. His thumb is just on a single up and down hinge, so he can give you a thumbs up or make a fist. And the fingers are all together on a hinge and a hinge, so you get some posability there. The wrists are also kind of on an inward hinge, but that's more of a transformation piece, but it is there. We do get a rotation at the waist. It is does kind of collide with stuff, and one of the only issues I really have with the robot mode is this does not stay tabbed in very well. It's this big silver block here, supposed to tab onto this tab right here. It kind of does pop off pretty easy whenever you're moving stuff around, so you kind of got to hold him by his midsection. He does have a butterfly joint, so there is that, and does also have a bicep swivel, although again that's just like, it's kind of stiff and everything's trying to come apart there. That is like my biggest issue, is just that and one particular transformation step that anyone who's seen reviews of this figure probably already knows about. But as far as the legs go, we can kick that far forward. Move that skirt piece. Can move that far forward. Can go that far back. The back butt skirt is one solid piece, so can kick out that far as long as you account for the collision of it kind of going into his waist here. Well, actually, no, there is room. We do get a thigh swivel, and we do get more than 90 at the knee. We do get some ankle tilts, and we do get up and down at the foot, which is nice. So we do get a fair bit of posability here. But that's about it for the articulation, I believe. And he does have some die cast in him. He does have a bit of heft to him. There's definitely some here in the legs. And I really like that they've gone through the trouble of sculpting all the scales, so it really does sit in well with the other MP dinosaur transformers, the other Beast Wars. I only have a couple. I actually should go grab them real fast. Sorry about that. I went to go grab my MP Dinobot and Beast Wars Megatron, and stuff started falling over on the shelves, and I had to go clean that up. But I did want to do a little comparison here with him and MP Dinobot. And I do remember Dinobot being pretty chunky in the show, but I don't think my Dinobot is oversized. I don't think they ever made one, because this isn't official. It is a KO, but pretty sure this is the same size as the official release. But yeah, they sculpted all the scales, and they did the same for him. And I really do like the dark metallic red that they used. It looks very, very nice. But yeah. Let's see. Alright, I do want to do a couple other comparisons. Here he is next to the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy version of Terrorsaur. And of course here he is with the OG Beast Wars Terrorsaur. So you can see how they stack up. Very much a do not talk to me and my son ever again. But anyway, I am gonna put these guns back here, and yeah, the guns store on there are these little tabs you can kind of see, and the guns just kind of have these little grooves in them. So I'm gonna put this one over here, and then this gun, it's these sort of zigzag grooves. You can see there's like a little square space at the end of it, so like that. And then yeah, the missile launchers unfortunately do not store. You can tab them together, but they don't really plug in on the bottom the way they should. Anyway, I guess, see, I'm pretty sure we've already done everything for the robot mode, so I guess now we have to work on transformation. So first things first, we do want to come back here and untab his dino head, and we're going to come here to the arms, and we are going to flip up the dino claws and flip down that wrist joint, and we are going to rotate that 180 and then put that fist back here into this slot on his arm, sort of bring that out, and then we're just going to do the same on the other side, flip that around, put that back in that slot, and as you can see, that's just coming undone. We want to come here to the shoulder pieces, and we're going to bring them out, and we are going to rotate them around, and I do believe there's a certain, we want to bring these pieces on the back of the arm down. We want to rotate the arm 180 so that this groove is lined up with the armature that this is on. Bring this up a little, and then bring that down like so. Going to do the same on the other side. We're going to rotate that down. Going to bring this down. Rotate that arm around. Rotate this around and just slip it into that slot there. And we're just going to go ahead and bring this up. We do want to bring this panel out and bring this whole thing up. We are going to untab his head. And then we want to come here to the torso. We are going to flip that whole thing up, and then we're going to bring this whole chest assembly with his arms up, and then this little silver piece is going to come down like so. Then we can bring these portions out to the side like so, and then on these butterfly joints we are going to bring his legs inside, and we want to just sort of wrap them around that little bit there from before, like so. And then we can just leave the legs for the moment. Almost forgot, we do want to come here to the head, and this whole section on the back of his head is just going to come all the way up, and that's going to let us bring his head back at a 90-degree angle. So there's that. Now we want to unfold all of this. So probably should do it a little slower, but it's under, over, over, and then just straighten all that out, and then rotate it around so that the metallic bits are on the underside. And then I believe now we fold up these little pieces here, and we can just leave those for now because now we got to work on his legs. So for his legs, there is we want to pull forward on his shin / kneecaps like so, and then pull back this panel on his calves. And I believe we want to bring this whole assembly. He's basically got 2 joints in his knees, and we want to bring it back so that his calf is sitting over his actual knee joint. And then do that on the other side, like so. Oh, I did that wrong. I moved it forward. And it does feel like something that like should go forward because it like sits more snugly in there. That is not the right way to do it. So then I know we need to bring these panels down on his hips. We also want to bring this whole butt panel down and bring this whole assembly under. And it is, I believe, on a slider. Yeah, and then we want to slide that down. So we want to bring the whole panel out and forward and then slide it down up here. Now for the feet, we want to bring them all the way down, and then we need to bring out this little panel here, and we also want to untab the sides of the foot like so. We're going to bring them together here behind his foot, and they are going to tab back together like so. So it should look something like that. Bring it down again. Just doing my best to keep everything in the shot. So again, we want to come here and just kind of bring this little piece out. Sometimes it can be a little finicky. Of course, you have to be careful of his little toe spikes there, because they'll want to get you. And this one just doesn't want to come out like the other one did. I don't understand why. There we go. So bring that out. Bring the whole foot down. Untab these side pieces. Bring them back around. Tab them back together. There's that. Now, trying to remember. I do believe there's like a certain, yeah. So we do want to rotate the waist 180, and then this whole armature here is going to come like so, and we are going to bring this tab that was originally for his waist to the back, and it's actually going to tab into that same piece just in its new position. Bring that together. Actually, I'm doing this out of order because I forgot you gotta get the head in position when you do this part. So we do need to untab the head on this little white armature here, and we are going to bring it down and through. And we want to bring his legs out to the sides like so. Actually, I don't think we want to extend the legs outwards like that. We just want to bring the legs together like so. So his legs, you don't need to move his hips, you just need to rotate his thighs. And essentially you'll have this sort of like bow and arrow shape going on here. And as we bring all this in, we want to make sure that this piece of the back of his head here is going to sort of go under in between his thighs as we do all this. And I want to make sure that, yeah, and there is a little bit of a groove here on the arm for the back of his head crest to sort of sit in. So, and also there's this little tab on the armature that's going to sort of sit between. There's a little gap on this piece where these two screws are. So we're just going to finagle all that in there, making sure that we get everything in the right position. And looks like I'm not getting his head done right. Yeah, there we go. Bring that back over. And then once we have all that in position, we should be able to close this panel on his back all the way down. Okay, it looks like everything is in order. maybe. Yeah, I think so. Okay, then we're just gonna readjust these legs. So there are several tabs we gotta get into place now. So on the belly, on these thigh pieces where these metal bits are, there are little tabs here and here that are going to go into the sides of this piece. So we do need to get that up in there and just sort of bring this whole thing like so. Oh wait, hold on. I think I may have missed something. Yes, I did. Got to fold out this little panel. There, now we can get these in there. Also, there are a little tab that's going to go under his sort of like dino shoulder here, like so. And then for the wings, there is, so the big gap of his foot is going to hide this mechanical bit right here. And also, when you get that all sorted around, this piece is going to come down, and you can see there's a little tab and there's a little slot that it'll go into, like so. If you're doing it right, which it looks like I am not. Yeah, sometimes there's adjusting these panels a little bit here and there. Okay, yeah. And there are going to be like little tiny gaps and stuff. That's just going to have to live with that. And the wings don't really move around too much once you actually get everything together. They're kind of static for the most part, which is unfortunate, but considering everything you have to do, it's understandable, I think. Okay, there we got those wings together. Make sure that I get this tabbed in like so. Bring that forward. Okay, almost done here. So then we want to come underneath, and these shoulder pieces from before are going to rotate back around and go onto these tabs right here. You can see there is a slot right there. And we just bring that up. And come on. Also noticing that this piece right here isn't lined up the way it should be. Okay, let's try this side. There it goes. Bring it in enough. There we go. And let's see. Just kind of rotate those little dino feet. And let's see. Fix those wings up a little bit. And now for basically the worst part of this whole transformation. We do need to take this panel for the head and get it around these sort of shin pieces, and unfortunately the only way to really do that is you gotta sort of force it around. That is pretty much the only unpleasant part of this transformation, and I feel like they definitely could have done better on that, because yeah, having to force things past other things is just not fun. Unfortunately, you can't try and wiggle it past while they're wide open because it just doesn't line up the way it's supposed to. Trying to get good grip without putting my hand somewhere that's going to just tear something off. If this panel just like moved a little bit more, it wouldn't be a problem. There we go. Then we just tab it over those little bits like you see. And I believe that is everything. I'll just give these wings. Again, these wings do like to give you some trouble. Stay a little better than that. Come on. There we go. And of course now this side popped out too. But yeah, there we have him all dynoed up. And I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, it's a beast mode. It's gonna have a mess of panels, and there is some robot-y bits on the underside. But overall, I think it's pretty well executed. Like, honestly, if they just made this panel move, like, further forward so that it could just go around without the clearance issue, this figure would basically be perfect enough for me. That is really the only issue. Well, no, the waist in robot mode needs to be tighter. Although, probably could fix that with some super glue. Just thicken up that peg. Because yeah, it's just not tight enough. So that's fixable. But this is a design issue, not a quality control issue. But yeah, we do have him all transformed up. As far as articulation, again, there's not much. You do get hinges for his little dino claws. I'm trying to do this without stabbing myself because they are a little pokey. It's not super bad, but they are pokey. So you can open these up about that far. So he's definitely not going to be able to stand on them or anything. But that's part of the reason they included the stand. Can move like the last little panels of his wings just for a little bit of posing, but most of this is kind of locked in just because of how he transforms. We do get some head articulation. You get that neck joint goes all the way up and down. You do get a 360 spin, and as you saw, his mouth does open, and he does also have an articulated tongue. And they did actually give him posable eyes. So if you have like a little tool, you can actually see they're in slightly different positions. Let's see if I move this one back a little bit. Very hard to move them since they're so tiny. I'm amazed they even bothered. Yeah. Now he's just a little cross-eyed. But yeah, I'm not really going to mess with that too much. But yeah, they did give him posable eyes, which I believe they also did that for, I think the official Beast Wars Megatron did that. And as far as the stand, like I mentioned, you can just plug him back in on that same post, because that same port is just right here. It's just his belly instead of his crotch. So there is that. And you can have him flying around, screeching and terrorizing. And since you can't store these under the stand, you actually still can plug them in this mode. There are a few places, because the original plug-in points are actually right here on his back. And there are, where are they? There are, was it these? No, it's not those. They're too loose. I believe. Oh yeah, what? It was either this or. Was it this? Yeah. You can plug them like so under the wing. So. And I think there were a couple times where he used his launchers in beast mode. I watched the show pretty recently. I think I would remember. Yeah. Maybe that's not the spot. Was it this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that was what I was thinking of. These little tabs here. You can clip it on under his wings. And the other one, it obviously stayed for a bit, but yeah, you can have him with some weapons in his beast mode as well. And as far as comparisons, here is with the Takara Premium Terrorsaur. So give him put your wing back on. So here's how they compare as far as wingspans go. And for one more, here we have the a KO of the MP Megatron, just so you can see how he stacks up. And I do believe this size is around the right scale, because yeah, Megatron was a pretty big guy. I just feel like my Dinobot's a little bigger than he was supposed to. I know he was pretty big, but maybe it's because I had him in robot mode and haven't compared the dinosaur modes. But yeah, just an idea of how they stack up. But yeah, I really do dig this figure. Aside from, you know, that one port for the waist and the last step of that transformation, I really do like this guy. He looks incredible. I really like that metallic dark red that they have all over. He is just, it's like a really premium finish, and all the plastic feels pretty solid. So yeah, I'm probably just going to take a little super glue, tighten up that tab, and just got to be careful when transforming him. I mean, there are other, you know, transformers that have like that one step that always feels uneasy, like the what was it? The Planet X Fall of Cybertron Grimlock with his tail having to sort of bend that part around his knee. And that guy, mine still hasn't broken or anything, so it's just a matter of being really careful as you do it. Just want to, you know, find that little sweet spot where things move into place and not force it, because yeah, you don't want to break it. But yeah, overall, I would say I do recommend this guy. You know, just keeping those two little things in mind. But yeah, overall, I'm really glad to have a Masterpiece Terrorsaur, because he was one of the few characters I really remembered from when I watched Beast Wars as a kid. Given I didn't remember a lot in detail, but I did remember liking his, you know, dinosaur alt mode and the way he would scream terrorize. I would try it, but I would probably mess it up. Not that there's really like a pleasant way to do it. I think that was the whole point, is it was really like screechy and awful. But yeah, this is just a really cool figure, and I'm hoping that at some point in the near future I'll be able to pick up, what was it, the Robot Toys Scorponok, Venatagon, I think it was, because that looks like a really cool piece too. And I know Robot Toys is making a few other Beast Wars characters, so I'm slowly starting to snag some MP scale Beast Wars figures. I do have a pre-order for a KO reissue of the Optimus Primal, and I got an order for the Rat Trap, the official Rat Trap, coming out soon, because he's not like $500, so I'm at least willing to put the money forth for that. Support where I can afford to. But yeah, I think that's really about it for this review, and I hope you all enjoyed this review. I enjoyed this figure, and this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.